Hi, my name is ColdBeer and let's start with the Scouring.
In this heavily Warcraft-inspired RTS you will find very familiar gameplay, fast-paced action and well-known factions. But despite it being a clone of Warcraft, it has something really appealing. The visuals are great, unit controls are smooth, and people who played Blizzard games before are saying that they feel right at home here. The potential is huge and the crowd is thirsty for more. I remember when I played Bannerman, which has like 50% positive reviews on Steam, boring missions and only one faction. I loved it. The hunger I am experiencing for something truly Warcraft-like is similar to my hunger for potato salad.
No, it's not.
Oh, shut up. The Scouring is not only one out there. There are more like Godsworn, for example, but the more, the better. The Scouring is still in early access, so it doesn't have a campaign, but you are welcome to play multiplayer or against AI. There is also a mode where you control the hero and AI handles your base and army. Something innovative, no doubt. So at least put it into your wishlist. This game has huge potential for all RTS fans. Doom: The Dark Ages. You know what time it is? It is time to slay some demons and become the scariest thing in hell. This time the game is leaning to the fantasy side with all the medieval stuff everyone likes, but will still stay sci-fi with all the weapons, mechanisms and hellish technologies. You know, who cares? It's Doom. It's fast-paced, it's entertaining, and you can slay demons left and right. All in all, you are one of the most powerful and beloved heroes in the pop culture of humanity. Here a new item called Shield Saw awaits you. It is literally a shield that, is also a saw. It's not very hard to guess how you will use it. People on Steam are saying that The Dark Ages is a very solid title, feels like a true Doom sequel, and the review score is above 80%. The downside, in my opinion, is that the Slayer doesn't feel like an unstoppable machine. You have to constantly pick specific weapons for specific enemies and use the shield in a specific way. So sometimes you feel like you have to solve a puzzle instead of just slaying everyone left and right. Despite that, it's pure fun and the visuals are gorgeous, just like you, my friend. Dungeons of Hinterberg. Let's begin with the fact that on Steam it has more than 90% positive reviews, so it is fair to say that this is a hidden gem. Here you will escape from the infinite wheel of corporate life to go on a dungeon exploring vacation. It looks like a simple story game with around 7 hours of gameplay, but in reality the game is way bigger than that. To complete Dungeons of Hinterberg it will take you around 18 hours, so whether you are snowboarding down a glacier, climbing mountains or taking in the lakeside scenery, there is always much more to explore. The biggest downside is that it is absolutely unsuitable for people who get motion sickness easily, and players are saying that this is a cozy dungeon crawler even for people who don't like cozy games, and the art direction is 10 out of 10. They did a wonderful job. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 Deluxe Edition. This is a third-person shooter where you will be able to play not only as a plant, as usual, but as a zombie as well. Here you'll find around 100 different playable character variants. You will engage in up to 24 player online battles in different modes, and when I say that, I mean it. The game was released a few years ago, but there are around 1,000 players online on a good day, so the game is alive and kicking. Not like zombies in this game, they are for sure long dead, although they can kick, probably. Maybe. Anyway, there are also 4-player co-op and even solo options available. You won't find any campaign here, however you can play solo against AI in any game mode if you want. Game has 12 maps and around 90% positive reviews. What's not to like? Command & Conquer Remastered Collection. These games were pinnacles of the RTS genre about 25 years ago, and now they are both fully remastered in 4K. That sounds amazing and plays floppy disks of nostalgia in my brain. In this release you will find all 3 expansion packs, rebuilt multiplayer, a modernized UI, map editor, and over 7 hours of legendary remastered music by Frank Klepacki. If you are old enough to play these games when they were initially released, this is the best way to relive these days with way better graphics. Here you'll find many cool things, like upscaled cinematic footage, enhanced sidebar UI, leaderboards for one-on-one matches, replays, 250 multiplayer maps, and even official mod support. But if you actually want a modern RTS game with all the cool stuff, these remastered games will not satisfy your needs. Go and play StarCraft 2 instead. It's free and it's awesome. Inertial Drift. Usually I avoid car games on my channel, but so it happened that a few years ago I played the demo of Inertial Drift and I really liked it. It is a super beautiful and really entertaining racing game, and also the price of it is more than great. You must hate gaming in general to ignore offers like that. I'm kidding, of course. Anyway, the game is set in 90s retro future, and it is an arcade racer with a unique handling model and satisfying twin-stick drift mechanics, so don't play it with your keyboard, please, just don't. The game will offer you 16 unique cars with various characteristics to master, and you can drive those in 20 handmade tracks, while listening to retro electronic music and admiring beautiful landscapes. Well, honestly, you will have all your attention on the car, so if you are not born in Chernobyl and don't have an additional pair of eyes dedicated for admiring horizons, that may be a hard thing to do. Anyway, this is a great arcade racer, fun no-brainer after a hard day at work. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This is one of my favorite games I have ever played. Yeah, I am a fan of Star Wars, and my whole childhood I dreamed of becoming a Sith, so I could teach people I don't like a lesson of... From all Souls-like games, Fallen Order had the most satisfying combat I've seen since the times of the third Witcher, and I probably liked it so much because it reminded me of those sword dances I did as a Geralt. The game started slow, but the more I played, the more powerful I got. You know, skills like running on walls or throwing spinning lightsaber into a bunch of puny enemies are not given to you all at once. At the beginning you suck as a Jedi, even some random rat can kill you if you are not careful enough. So I died a lot. But later I became a real combat god because I discovered a story mode difficulty. Yeah, this is a Souls-like game even noobs like me can enjoy. Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. Here you will take on the role of Peter Parker, who is fighting big crime and iconic villains in New York City. At the same time, he is struggling to balance his chaotic personal life and career, while the fate of the town rests upon his shoulders. Yeah, this Spider-Man has some experience, he's not a newbie by no means. After 8 years behind the mask, Peter Parker is a crime-fighting master, so here you will feel the full power of a more experienced Spider-Man, with improvisational combat, dynamic acrobatics, fluid urban traveling mechanics and environmental interactions. You'll swing through vibrant neighborhoods and catch great views of iconic Marvel and Manhattan landmarks. Also, you will have to use the environment around you to defeat murderous villains. And you don't want any murders in your town. Well, except those who die in the process of you fighting the villain. Those are acceptable losses, and nobody will ever miss those people. Everyone knows that. The game has an overwhelmingly positive review score and is a true gem for every Spider-Man fan. Dishonored 2. The story of the second game is set 15 years after the events of the first one. Here, another worldly usurper has seized the Emperor's throne, leaving the fate of the Isles hanging in the balance. He will travel beyond the legendary streets of the once dazzling coastal city, track down the enemies and take back what's rightfully yours. You will be able to play as Emily or Corvo and bring their own perspectives and emotional responses to the world and story. Each character has their own set of powers, gadgets and uniquely tuned weapons, and only you will decide whether you fight your way through the city streets or sneak across the rooftops. And of course, which enemies you decide to slay or to spare. People are saying that if you play the first part, this will feel like a reboot with more stuff. That is not a bad thing, keeping in mind that the first part was a masterpiece, and the review score is around 90%. Doom. The most famous first-person shooter was reborn in 2016, and since then it holds the overwhelmingly positive reviews not only on Steam but in our hearts as well. Here you'll encounter relentless demons, destructive guns and fast fluid movement. Whether you are obliterating demon hordes in the single-player campaign or competing against your friends in multiplayer, people on Steam are saying that every priest will approve this game. You know, eradicating demons is a holy deed in every religion.
Except if you worship Satan.
Yeah, I can see the flaw of my idea now. ID Software should create a game where humans are defending from angel invasion as well.
Don't drink beer, it's a sin.
They would say, and then you could just shoot them. I would definitely play that. Rust. The only aim here is to survive. Everything wants you to die. The island's wildlife, other inhabitants, the environment, other survivors, and so on. So do whatever it takes to last another night. The game itself is an MMO in very active development, with a guaranteed content patch every month. From regular balance fixes and improvements to AI and graphic updates, to adding content like new maps, musical instruments, trains, and drones, as well as regular seasons and events. There is always something interesting or dangerous, or both, happening on the island. You'll find procedurally generated worlds with map editor support. You can host your own servers, ride a vast array of vehicles from cars and trains to hot air balloons and helicopters. You can build houses, farm, or do almost anything you want. The game is huge. Not as huge as your mama though. It Takes Two. As you can probably imagine, this is a co-op game for 2 people. Here you can invite a friend to join for free with Friends Pass, and together master unique and connected character abilities, help each other with the obstacles, and have a great time in general. For example, my friend who's 40 plus years old and usually plays games like Detroit Become Human, Observer, The Last of Us, and similar gloomy stuff, played this with his wife, and he said that this was the best game he tried in half a year. So it's obvious that the game has no age or genre restrictions, it's just pure fun. So grab your mother-in-law and have fun together. It Takes Two has overwhelmingly positive reviews, but that's probably obvious as well. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is for sure the best game I have played since the third Witcher, and overall in my mind it takes 6th place among all the games I have ever played in my entire life. That is a sacred spot, knowing that I've been playing video games for the last 35 years. The game has an amazing branching story where your decisions hugely impact the world and your surroundings. Who you are, where you go, who you decide to befriend, kill, or bang, everything has a meaning. Dialogues are great, voice actors are the best in the business, freedom of choice is overwhelming, you never know what you will find. You know, once I tried to speak to a frog. I said something probably not very nice and frog tried to kill me, wiped out half of my party. But I befriended a witch who likes to kidnap and imprison simple folk from the village in her dungeon. She sells me nice stuff now. I killed all the druids and made friends with goblins. Then I didn't, and everything was different. I played the game 3 times and I will do that again and again. Baldur's Gate 3 is beyond amazing, 11 cold beers out of 10. Tormented Souls. Let's be honest, the heroine of the game looks out of place, and it's hard to take some anime protagonist seriously in a horror game. Despite that, it is probably the only bad thing, because the game is great. If you enjoy classic survival horror titles, Tormented Souls may be your spoon of potato salad. It is suitable for all the fans of classic Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Alone in the Dark. So here, while investigating the disappearance of twin girls at Winter Lake, something terrible happens to you. Waking in the dead of night, hooked to some kind of outdated medical equipment in a bathtub, you must fight for your life as you explore the halls of the abandoned mansion, filled with monsters, secrets, and eternal darkness. Sounds like cliché, but it's hard to find bad comments about the game. Everyone loves it. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is an awesome game. Well, 3 remastered games in one remade with shiny new graphics and details. Although I must admit that the graphics of the first part are still morally old. So the more you play, the more beautiful the game gets. So don't expect miracles, these are all the games with not so fancy overhaul as Crysis franchise. First Mass Effect was released in 2007, so really long time ago. Anyway, if you like science fiction space operas, Mass Effect is one of the best there is. It has a great plot, many twisted turns of events, mysteries on every corner, giant robots, giant spaceships, and giant space stations. Everything is giant here. It's also full of great characters as well, and it has about 90% of positive reviews on Steam. By buying Legendary Edition, you will get all 3 remastered Mass Effect games with all the DLCs and other stuff included and remade in one huge game. Blair Witch. I never played the game myself because I expected it to be very scary, so I watched the entire playthrough on YouTube. I really love watching horror games being played by people with way bigger balls than I have. So what can I say, Blair Witch is not a very scary game. It is dark and psychologically challenging, but the level of horror isn't very high. I could probably play it without much struggle. The game itself is quite linear, so don't expect much action. All you'll do here is hold the W key, sometimes relaxed and sometimes times you will press way harder, depending on the situation of course. So basically it is a walking simulator with menacing and beautiful visuals. Anyway, the story starts in 1996. A young boy disappears in the forest, and you, a former police officer with a troubled past, join the search. What starts as an ordinary investigation soon turns into an endless nightmare as you confront your fears and the Blair Witch herself, a mysterious force that haunts the woods. Creepy but very fun. Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year Edition. This is the first one of the Arkham games. You may think that it is quite an old game, and you are right, around 15 years is not a joke. But surprisingly, the graphics are still great. I can't even imagine how this game felt back then, because when I look at it, it's like it never aged at all. Some Elijah Wood of games. Anyway, it still has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam and is one of the best rated games on the store overall. Here you'll use the free-flow combat system to chain together unlimited combos seamlessly, and battle with huge groups of the Joker's henchmen in brutal melee brawls. You will have to solve interesting puzzles with the help of a cutting-edge forensic tools, including X-ray scanning, fingerprint scan, spray and pheromone tracker, and sooner or later you will meet famous villains, such as the Joker, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy and Jada Pinkett Smith. Well, maybe not the latter, but anyway, this game is a masterpiece even if you don't like Batman. A Way Out. This is an exclusively co-op adventure where you play the role of one of two prisoners, making their daring escape from prison. You can do that by online co-op or by sitting near to your friend in split-screen mode, which is obviously the best choice. Each player controls one of the main characters to break out of prison and gain their freedom. The catch here is that the characters are not friends, they just happen to be in a bad place at the same time. There is no trust between them, like there's no trust between you and your friend when you eat potato chips from a shared package. So escaping prison with a complete stranger isn't ideal circumstances, but as freedom gets closer and closer, you will have to learn to trust each other if you want to make it to the other side. You will sneak, fight, run, drive, and even go for a little fishing along the way. Also use teamwork to solve puzzles and overcome obstacles. And I should mention again that it is impossible to play it alone. There's no AI who can control the other character, so speak with your friend in advance before buying. Or, you know, use threats, lies and deceit to trick them, so your friends would have no way out, only to play the game with you. Good news is, you don't have to buy 2 copies, one is enough. Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition. If you don't know what Titanfall is, you may think that this is only a multiplayer battle royale of some sort, but it is not. The game actually features a very nice, although really short single-player campaign, packed with action and inventive twists. Here you play as militia rifleman stranded behind enemy lines who encounters a veteran Titan. You must work together to uphold a mission you were never meant to carry out. And of course, in Titanfall 2 there is a multiplayer portion of the game with fast-paced, first-person action with Titans and deadly pilot abilities. This version of the game includes all the Deluxe and Jump Starter content, which includes new Titans, warpaint, weapons, tokens and even more, and this price is more than great. Keplerth. In this 2D sandbox RPG, you will try to survive on a hostile alien planet, where you can choose to live alone or fight side by side with your friends in the online multiplayer mode. Here your fate is in your hands. With randomly generated maps and dungeons, you can experience something new every time you play. Discover a rich biosphere, unlimited resources and all sorts of hidden catastrophes just waiting to arise. Build an elaborate home on the surface, or explore the dangers that lay beneath the ground. Fight against enemies from different factions, take on dungeons with your imaginary friends, and leave your mark on this mysterious world. Dudes and dudettes on Steam are saying that this game will give you about 25 hours of gameplay, and for this price it's a great deal. Human Fall Flat. This is a hilarious, light-hearted physics platformer set in a world of floating dreamscapes. Each level provides a new environment to navigate, from mansions, castles and Aztec adventures to snowy mountains, eerie nightscapes and industrial locations. Multiple routes through each level and playful puzzles ensure exploration and ingenuity are rewarded. More than 30 million copies are sold so far, and this is not a coincidence. This game is very entertaining. And the best review I have read about this game was written by IGN. They said, "It's just dumb fun." And yeah, that's what it is. Tons of laughing guaranteed. Rage. The first Rage game is very Falloutish and more loved by players than Rage 2. You know, like your siblings are more loved than you and your family. So Rage is an interesting look into life after the end of everything. And that end came along with an asteroid. Not a very ingenious plot, but I guess still better love story than a zombie apocalypse. You know, there are hundreds of more interesting ways to end the world than these cliché scenarios. For example, beer could become sentient and take over the world, or cats suddenly mutate into psychics and when they are hungry, and that's all the time, they make you dance until you drop dead.
Dance, human, dance for me, meow meow.
I don't know, the possibilities of world ending are actually endless. Why stick to like 7 most boring ones? So here you emerge into this vast wasteland to fight against bandit gangs, mutants and the authority, an oppressive government regime that has a special interest in you in particular. Chivalry 2. When years ago I tried the first part of the game, I liked it so much that I played it for several hours non-stop. I had great internet, so anyone with slower connection died from my swings like bleeding pigs just because of the lag in their pathetic homes. I felt like a combat god, but that only lasted until some averagely talented players with good internet speed connected to my server and, you know, I started to die a lot. That I didn't like. I have a similar story with Chivalry 2, but somehow this part was easier for me to learn and I had tons of fun. So here you'll try to dominate massive 64-player battlefields. Catapults tear the earth apart as you lay siege to castles, set fire to villages and slaughter filthy peasants in the glory of team objective maps. Also, a fully featured mounted combat system will make you feel like a true knight, and that includes the ability to trample your foes, land devastating front and rear horse kicks, unhorse your opponent with a lance and engage in a deep melee combat with grounded or mounted opponents. The game has a very positive review score left by tens of thousands of players, so I think it's safe for you to give it a try. Friends vs. Friends. Despite the childish looks, the game offers immensely fun gameplay. Friends vs. Friends is an online PvP shooter that combines combat and deck building. Honestly, really unique and fun combination. It's like you and your mother-in-law, or cucumbers with honey. Sounds weird, but it's really delicious. So here you'll have to choose your character, customize your card-based loadout and get ready for the fights of your life. Or more like for the fights of your death, because the game is filled with great players and with balding dudes still living in their parents' basement. Never underestimate their power. Here you can play 1 vs 1 or 2 vs 2. Gain levels, get new cards, improve the ones you already have and get to know an array of eclectic characters with their own unique passive skills. People are saying that this is a great fast-paced game, but it will infuriate you way more than you expect. Hotline Miami. A game where you shoot things while listening to amazing music. What could be better? Well, probably a lot of things, but let's not dive into our fantasies about a bowl of refreshing potato salad or, you know, things that we cannot afford. But you know what is the thing almost everyone can afford? Come on, don't say anything about my sister. I mean, everyone can afford this game, or to become my supporter on Patreon, or here on YouTube. Alright, I know, that was a nice try. Anyway, Hotline Miami wouldn't be this good if not for the music. The atmosphere it creates along with the carnage on the screen is the best kind of symbiosis I have ever seen. Although be ready to press R to restart over and over again. So keep in mind that it is hard, harder than you can imagine.
That's what she said.
Showgunners. I was really impressed by this game's story and setting. Here, in the dystopian future where corporations rule, a brutal reality show is the hottest entertainment property in town. You play as one of the contestants driven by revenge. To win, you must navigate dangerous urban arenas packed with lethal traps and face off against hordes of heavily armed psychopaths. Every stage in Showgunners is handcrafted to create a curated turn-based tactical gameplay experience. It is heightened with the inclusion of a diabolical show director that can hinder you or help your opponents depending on your performance. This level design ensures that no 2 levels play the same way and keeps you thinking tactically. If this kind of show would be streamed in real life, I would be a subscriber, no doubt. Also, you can try free Showgunners demo version on Steam. Dead Space. Of course, I'm speaking about the recent remaster of the game, which is a fantastic game just like the original Dead Space, but I can almost assure you that if you played it a long time ago, you won't spot any difference. I completed the first game more than 10 years ago, and when I watched someone play the remastered version, honestly, I couldn't see anything new. Yeah, the graphics now are shiny and beautiful, but it is exactly how I remember the original version. So the remake is a great game on 2 occasions. First, if you want to replay the game, and not because there is a remaster available, but first, because of the game itself, and second, if you never played it. In that case, I can assure you this is one of the best horror shooter games I ever played. Well, it's more like a thriller with a bunch of jump scares, but the atmosphere is amazing. The surroundings of the space station are made incredibly well, and the necromorphs are really creepy. Be sure that your mental balls are strong and hairy. 10 cold beers out of 10. Ghostwire Tokyo. Here the city is overrun by deadly supernatural forces after 99% of the population just vanished, so you will use a powerful arsenal of spectral abilities to fight the paranormal threat and unravel the mystery behind the mass disappearance. It may sound and look a bit like a horror game, but the main emphasis is not on the horror, rather on the fast-paced gameplay where you use your powerful abilities and can fight various ghosts like a true Ghostbuster, or more like a ghost eliminator, because you kill them.
How can you kill somebody who's already dead?
Oh, shut up, it's not a science game. And seriously, the game has a rating that allows 12-year-olds to play, so grow your mental balls and dive in. Escape Simulator. This is a first-person puzzler you can play solo or in an online co-op. Here you'll explore a growing set of highly interactive escape rooms. Move furniture, pick up and examine everything, smash pots and break locks. The game also supports community-made rooms using the level editor. As I mentioned before, you can play it alone without any problems, but all the rooms are playable in an online co-op as well. Community rooms have been tested with up to 10 people, but I can realize the chaos it can bring. So 1 or 2 friends is actually more than enough, and probably more than you actually have. I'm kidding, of course.
Or am I?
The game, as people on Steam are saying, is not just an escape room simulator. It's a great escape from reality as well, especially after a long, hard day at work. Serial Cleaner. Have you ever wanted to clean a crime scene? Yeah, I thought so, I'm not so eager as well. But this game lets us dive into this grim and, by the way, very well paid job. Maybe after playing you will reconsider your career choices. By the way, it's not some official job. Oh no, you work for the Mafia and clean crime scenes for them. See, I said that this job is well paid. A good cleaner never gets caught, so you have to make sure you get in, clean up and get out without leaving a trace of evidence for the police to find. Game features a funky 70s inspired soundtrack, real-world data to modify levels according to the current time of day and your whereabouts, full story campaign and even challenge modes. People on Steam are saying that this is simple and chill game with very unique style, although be prepared to rage a little when you will get caught right before finishing the mission.
And now thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time, and also subscribe. Yes, do it now, bye.
Subscribe to ColdBeer, enjoy